in the squadron. They called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And with peace at hand, oil prices coming way, way, way down. This is very, very big right now. We are within a day or two of peace in the Middle East. This war with Iran is this close to being over. It looks like all the shooting is done, and this thing is wrapping up. So what next? What next? We all go to Disneyland? The war is over. I tell you, in about 2 weeks, it'll feel like it never happened. But for Israel and for those of us, well, everybody in America will be so much safer. Iran will literally not be able to even think about creating a nuclear weapon for, I don't know, 17 and a half years, 15 years, 20 years. That will be worked out. We don't know what the situation is, but that will be worked out. All right. It's big. It's really, really big. I'm proud of President Trump. The man did not become president just to be president. He became president to do things. Most people most presidents, they just want it. It's the ultimate honor. It's the ultimate achievement. It's the ultimate experience. I'm the president. Oh, now I got to do stuff. Okay. You guys give me some choices. Give me some options. This is George W. Bush. I want the options. And then the deep state gives you options, but they control the president by doing it that way. You can choose option A, invade by land, option B, air attack, option C, trade embargo, or option D, invasion with half as many troops. They want action against country X, say Iran. They're going to get action, right? And they'll limit the president's options. That really is, that's how they do it. Strait of Hormuz completely open as Trump celebrates tumbling oil prices. Iran removing all sea mines. Iran's foreign minister announced Friday that the Strait of Hormuz is now completely open for all commercial ships, as President Trump said the U.S. would take all of Tehran's leftover nuclear fuel. In line with the ceasefire in Lebanon, the passage for all commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz is declared completely open for the remaining period of the ceasefire. Well, I don't know, folks. He did it again. And it's awesome. 800-848-9222. 800-848-9222. Now, with this under his belt, how many wars? Do you get credit for ending a war that you started? Right? Now, we did take the initiative for this most recent spate of kinetic activities, but they started it all the way back in 1979, November 1979. I almost remember where I was when they took our hostages. And now we come full circle. The people in charge now in Iran, well, they're reasonable. And President Trump knows that. He's been talking to them. Iran has agreed to never close the Strait of Hormuz again. It will no longer be used as a weapon against the world. President Donald J. Trump. Now you could say, well, they're always lying over there. Yeah. But do you lie when lying would be against your best interests? I don't know. Maybe. A great and brilliant day for the world. Thank you to Pakistan and its great prime minister and field marshal. Two fantastic people. Again, the deal is not tied in any way to Lebanon, but we will make Lebanon great again. Iran, with the help of the USA, has removed or is removing all sea mines. Thank you to Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar for your great bravery and help. Now that the Hormuz Strait situation is over, I received a call from NATO asking if we would need some help. I told them to stay away unless they just want to load up their ships with oil. They were useless when needed. A paper tiger. You got that. Also, the USA will get all nuclear dust created by our great B-2 bombers. No money will exchange hands in any way, shape, or form. The deal is in no way subject to Lebanon either, but the USA will separately work with Lebanon and deal with the Hezbollah situation in an appropriate manner. Israel will not be bombing Lebanon any longer. They are prohibited from doing so by the USA. Enough is enough. Thank you, President DJT. Also, reiterating, the Strait of Hormuz is completely open and ready for business and full passage, but the naval blockade will remain in full force and effect as it pertains to Iran only until such time as our transaction with Iran is 100% complete. This process should go very quickly, in that most of the points are already negotiated. Thank you very much for your attention to this matter. Iran has just announced that the Strait of Iran is fully open. Wow. Isn't this like, it just feels like it's obviously a new day. The midterms don't seem so foreboding anymore, right? A lot of nervous people out there. I want to enjoy this moment. Larry, I think this is great. Larry, where are you?
I'm over here. Greg, thanks for taking my call. And I want you to get the Pulitzer Prize, and I'll tell you how we're going to get it for you. Would you please get Mr. Katsimatides, your boss, to offer an inordinate amount of money to those two lawyers who served on the jury wherein President Trump was convicted of whatever? Does that sound like an idea for you?
You get the. Do me a favor. Don't bring up my boss. All right. You know, where do you work? Who's your boss? All right. Let's leave the boss out of it. All right. I don't like the two lawyers why would that be a good book? They voted to convict. They voted to convict President Trump. Do you think they're two lawyers, by the way? Do you think that was a virtuous verdict?
No, that's exactly what I'm driving at.
Well, I know, but I can't really tell. You say we get those guys to write a book, and they're going to write a book, and it's going to win the Pulitzer. Those guys voted to convict. Now, you may notice that you haven't seen those two lawyers, have you? You don't see them on TV. You don't see them anywhere. I haven't seen one juror do one interview. Yet every other high-profile jury, you see them. The O.J. Simpson jurors are still. One of them has a talk show to this day. The guys who convicted Whitey Bulger. They all make statements. Why not? You know why? Because probably they were government contractors, and you had to not go on TV. You had to play the part. You had to pretend that you were afraid of MAGA. You had to pretend that you were afraid. Oh, if I say anything about MAGA, they could be coming at me. Anyway, all right. So Larry, you're on our side. I couldn't tell there for a second. I don't think that's a practically good idea. Anything else?
Just get me one juror. I'll tear him up. I'll call in the whole day and ask him all kinds of questions. I got to get you the juror? I got to do it? Get him on your program.
All right. Well, you know what? These people are, you know what? You realize they are anonymous. And that was another thing that's suspicious, right? Jury of your peers, my ass. These people were government contractors. All right. Thank you, Larry, very much. Let's see what else we got here. It is fascinating, right? I'm not forgetting all of the lawfare against President Trump. And neither is he, for that matter. Neither is he. I made a huge video about the fake 2019, impeachment, which found its way onto Truth Social, right here where he's announcing peace. He was announcing my videos on Wednesday. That was pretty cool. Patrick, I'd love your reaction to the great big news that we basically have a peace deal in hand and we won the war with Iran.
That's not what I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about this police sergeant that was arrested. His lawyers, I'm glad he's out now, or will be, but what he did was self-defense, because, all the people that in restaurants and stuff have shot a criminal when he came in, even if they weren't shooting directly at him, it was self-defense because he was defending other people. And this sergeant was defending other people, the policemen and other people who were on the sidewalk. And,
I agree with you, Patrick, but did you hear the news? The news is this. He is getting out on bail. He was going to be in jail for 3 to 9 years. Now it's under appeal. He's getting out of jail. Could happen today. Could happen on Monday. We are very grateful for the great lawyer Arthur Aidala and his buddy there. What's his buddy's name? Andrew Quinn. In fact, I'm going to be joined by the Sergeant Benevolent Association in just a little bit. So, anyway, I think that's great. All right. Thank you, Patrick, very, very much. Wow. We have just won. You realize how massive this is? I'm looking at the cables right now. They're all one by one rediscovering other stories, huh? Whether it's Swalwell, redistricting in Georgia, that's a big thing. What else? The FISA, what? The Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. Will that be approved by the Senate? Yeah, people are really talking about that one. I know it's important, but this is huge. Jason, do you agree with me? I just love that this is happening in real time.
Hey, Greg, it's good to talk to you again. The thing I'm thinking about is, what about the people who have been slaughtered and are being slaughtered and being held in these horrific prisons? Is Mr. Trump going to do anything about that?
So who's getting slaughtered where?
In Iran. All the people, all the citizens that are being slaughtered, have been slaughtered, being held in prisons and being hung in the streets. Is Mr. Trump doing anything about that, or is it just about the nuclear weapons?
Well, we'll have to see. My sense is that's not why we went to war. You know that, right? I mean, we don't like it that they do that to their own people. Unfortunately, a lot of countries do horrible things to their own people. And that was not what this was about. So I tend to doubt it. However, we got rid of the hardcore, crazy regime. And these people are a little bit more moderate, so maybe on their own volition they'll do it. I have no indication that that's going to be addressed in this thing. No indication. It would be lovely, but no indication. And if it's not part of the deal, I'm still going to celebrate the deal. Does that make sense?
Yes, it certainly makes sense. I just feel terrible for those people, man, and I know you do too.
I do, and I've highlighted, some of the crazy situations like, a 10-year-old girl can be forced into marriage. Right? And you could have, you could be stoned for wearing your hair, at the wrong place at the wrong time, a girl showing her hair. And that's crazy stuff. But it's been that way for centuries. And I don't know if it's changing anytime soon. I wish it would. All right. But Jason, don't let that detract from this momentous occasion. We're there. And it's big and it's wonderful. My piece is dropping tomorrow on Gavin Newsom. I will tell you also, Bill Stevenson, those who have been worried about Bill Stevenson, I have not forgotten about Bill Stevenson. Bill Stevenson is being held in a jail in Delaware on suspicion of murder. You'll remember that he was married to Jill Biden, the now wife of Joe Biden. They were married in the early 1970s. They got divorced. My knowledge is actually that Bill embarrassed the Bidens during the divorce. He got more than the Bidens thought he should have gotten. He received warnings from the Biden family to get out of Delaware. They manufactured crimes and actually had the guy arrested for nothing in federal court. Literally nothing. I mean nothing. I've seen the documentation. I've seen it all. This man was targeted by the Biden family, and the Bidens rule Delaware. They own that state. And that poor guy, he was arrested twice on nothing in the 1980s and 1990s. So when he got arrested for murder of his wife, I was like, this doesn't make sense. And then I don't get the autopsy and I don't see the indictment. I'm like, this further doesn't make sense. So I wrote a big story about it. It's on my Substack, Greg Kelly Substack. You can go see it and you can read it. It's long, but it's important. And I know it's getting attention and people are looking at it. Probably, and I feel like something could move in this case. I'm very, very optimistic, okay? Bill Stevenson, I know he can sometimes listen on the radio all the way down there in Wilmington, Delaware. You have friends, my friend, and we haven't forgotten, and we're working on it, okay? And I'll be right back.
Greg Kelly on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So we had that special election in New Jersey. What was it? New Jersey's 11th district special election on a Thursday. The Mikey Sherrill's seat, unfortunately, the Democrat won, Majea, whatever, total radical leftist. I'm very disappointed that my friend Joe Hathaway did not pull it off. However, my hope is that he will continue his campaign because there will be another election in November, and they'll have it on a normal election day, Tuesday, right? That's when election day is supposed to be, Tuesday. Okay, Tuesday in November, not some random Thursday in April, all right? They rigged it so people wouldn't show up and people wouldn't know about it, and only the crazy Democrats would. Because Democrats, this is their religion, right? It's all about that. It's all about the secular. It's all about the government is the God, right? The party, government, politics. That's all these people have. And it's kind of sad for them, but it can make for, what do they like to say, grassroots, effective grassroots. The grassroots. I hate that phrase, by the way, grassroots, but it's kind of important. And hello, who's there? Oh, the man himself. Yes, indeed. Congratulations to him. I don't think I've ever seen him in person. This is the man from the Sergeants Benevolence Association who just secured the freedom of that wonderful Eric Durand, a sergeant in the New York City Police Department who was unfortunately fired after he was wrongly convicted of manslaughter for trying to save lives in the community. He didn't shoot anybody. He didn't club anybody in the head, but he did throw a cooler at a guy who was driving his moped on the sidewalk 30 miles per hour, bearing down on a group of people he almost killed. And he would have killed if he had not been knocked off with the cooler. And the cooler, what about the cooler? It killed the guy. It's caused a fall, and it killed the guy. So, we hope he, whatever. I mean, I'm sorry that a life was lost, but Eric Durand deserves his freedom, and he's going to get it either today or Monday. Some hero cops who helped make this happen right when we come back. Many thanks.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, we are back on a beautiful day. Peace is breaking out in the Middle East. Looks like the war is essentially over, and a hero cop is going to be free very soon. Eric Durand, the New York City police officer sergeant who was trying to save lives. He was undercover. He threw that cooler at the guy. Unfortunately, the guy lost his life, but he was driving down the sidewalk 30 miles per hour, right? He was going to kill somebody. Anyway, it had to be done. He did it. They threw him convicted of manslaughter, 3 to 9 years in jail, totally outrageous. And they sent him upstate to maximum security prison. But the good news is, the fabulous news, granted bail, and he could be out of jail any minute. One of the prime movers in this whole thing is the president of the Sergeant Benevolence Association, Vincent Vallalong. I know you've been in his corner since day one. Vincent, welcome back, Sergeant. And how do you feel?
This is actually a great day. I can't, to get this news, it's a victory for Eric, and it's a victory for all the members of law enforcement across this nation right now.
It's a beautiful thing. I think we needed this too. You know what I mean? We needed this. The lawyers, his lawyers, defense lawyers, Arthur Aidala and Andrew Quinn, good guys. How did they get this done?
They've been working tirelessly on this for the last week since this sentence came down. And they have been nonstop back and forth, getting themselves prepared. They got on a call today with the judge, and the judge granted Eric bail pending his appeal, which means he'll be home until actually they appeal the case. And listen, this is what we asked for originally from the judge, from Mitchell, and he did not grant it to us. This First appellate, they granted actually $200,000 less bail than Mitchell originally did during the trial.
What does that say to you?
It says, it speaks volumes. It speaks that, when you're sitting up there on that bench, you're not supposed to make decisions on politics. You're supposed to make decisions on what happens in life and what that individual is like. And if anybody, and I'm not just saying this, if anybody ever met the likes of Eric Duran, you would want to bring him home and call him friend and have him over your house during the holidays. He is just that special type of individual.
So it also, I'm guessing, is a signal to the system, and it's a signal to Judge Mitchell. You screwed up on this one.
Well, this isn't over. I mean, we still have to appeal this case. But now he gets to be home with his family during this time. He should never have been there to begin with.
He's no longer a police officer, right?
As of right, correct.
So what does he do monetarily?
Well, we still have to raise money for his legal defense, which we've been putting out. The Islanders organization was fantastic with us. They caught a little headache over it, but you want to know something? It's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do, and I'm so glad that there are people in the city right now that are coming out of the woodwork and doing that. It brings hope back to the men and women who do this job day in and day out.
The Islanders hockey team, what do they do?
They had us in. They did a 50-50. We got a percentage of it towards Eric's legal defense. They put his ad up on the scoreboard. Listen, the owner, class, nothing but class. And I think I told you before we went on. I didn't tell him then. I'm a big Ranger fan. I would put an Islander hat on and an Islander jersey, which says a lot on how it is, what it is he did, and the individual that he is.
Yeah, I think you're now an Islanders fan. All right, just forget about those.
It's still
Rangers.
A little difficult, but listen, I am so happy. It just
John Ledecky is his name, by the way. Everybody,
yes. Great
guy. You're happy. I'm happy. All right, we got a big legal appeal. Do you know what the basis was of the appeal? Like, is there any what the essence of the appeal is? Something must have. Do you have any idea?
I'm not going to throw it. I'm not going to muddy the waters. I'm not a lawyer. And Andrew or Arthur would, I'm sure, would be more than happy to talk to you about it.
I'll follow up with those guys. But he went to, and I was a little taken aback. He told me he was in Elmira, the state prison up there. That's maximum security. Somehow I thought he was still in Rikers, which is bad enough. Elmira, I mean, he was in full-scale prison, not a holding cell. This was it. How long was he there? Fortunately, he was only there for a week?
He was there, a week. I don't even want to be there for 7 minutes, let alone 7 seconds, even as a visitor. So a week is like an eternity, I'm sure.
How did he do during that week?
I will ask him when I see him.
And when do you think that's going to be?
Hopefully it'll be sometime next week. At least me. Hopefully his family sees him tonight.
I wonder if when he gets out of jail, they're going to give him the $40 and the suit of clothes. Do you ever hear about that?
I've seen that movie with John Belushi.
No, no. That's when you get the stuff back. But they still have a thing where they give you a suit of clothes and like $40 or $50, and okay, good luck. Here's start your life. Well, how can we help if we want to find out more? And look, money takes money. It takes money. Lawyers, all that stuff. And, it's not just by the hour. It's research. Yep. It's investigations. It's all this stuff. Where do we go? What's the best way?
SBANYC.org. And it'll direct you immediately to the site. You can click onto it.
SBANYC.org. Right. Sergeants Benevolent Association, SBA.NYC.
It's just NYC. SBANYC.
Oh, SBANYC.org. SBANYC.org. Let's do it. And you know what? I think we all, myself in particular, I got to give more. And I'm not assuming anybody's politics. I'm not even assuming Eric Duran's politics, but I will say that people on the left, they love small donors. I mean, we all love money, but the small donors, 5,000 people giving $1, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And sometimes you think, well, I can't give big money. No, please, whatever you got or whatever you can spare. This is fantastic. SBANYC.org. What's your next big project? This was successful. You came on, you were everywhere about a week ago. And you were righteous, you were indignant, obviously, and this happened. I love it. Sometimes there's outrage and then it just dissipates.
Sometimes you're put in a position to do the right thing, and you have to run with it. And this is the least that I could do.
Well, good for you. How's the union going overall?
I got a great board. They've been nothing but fantastic with support for Eric, for his family. I tip my hat to every single one of them.
Well, please give them our best. And it's SBANYC.org, SBANYC.org, and the whole situation and the whole story is right there. How long have you been a police officer?
36 years.
That would mean 1987?
It came on in 90.
90.
Yeah, I think your dad was still a PC.
He was first deputy commissioner.
Or he was close, yeah.
Yeah, first deputy commissioner.
Was a police cadet under your dad.
You're kidding?
Yeah.
On 20th Street?
Yeah.
And, he designed the logo?
Yeah, I do.
How do you know that?
Because I think someone told me in the academy at the time.
He was, he's quite the artist. And I remember where he sketched it and how he sketched it. And it just, that's amazing. Vincent Valalong, president of the Sergeants Benevolent Association, we thank you. And Eric Duran, congratulations. Okay, this is great. Great day.
Thank you. I thank this station, and I thank Mr. Katzimatidis and the whole group here. I mean, you guys have been fantastic.
It's our honor and privilege to be of help. We'll be right back, everybody.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So, Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin is in court. I think the guy did it, Tyler Robinson. I know that there are some questions that have been raised. I have seen multiple videos that look, what the hell was that all about? But, in every crime, if you look really, really closely, you might see some, what the hell was that all about moments. But the preponderance of evidence points to this guy being guilty, including the ATF report about DNA on the gun and I guess maybe even gun residue and all kinds of stuff tying this weapon to Tyler Robinson. Sometimes I think it's fun quite to actually come up with alternative theories and pursue them and what the hell really happened here. I enjoy that. I enjoy that process. It's interesting to me. And I did go down a lot of different rabbit holes and came back to the same conclusion. Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. That's what I believe. And Tyler Robinson did it. We have a motive. He said to his boyfriend there he had to be stopped. Somebody had to do it because the fake news lied about Charlie Kirk and what he was and what he stood for. They pretended he was a monster. The man was a Christian. The man was a believer in freedom and liberty and the Constitution and just one of the most righteous people I think I've ever met in my entire life. One of the most gifted, intelligent, and amazing in every sense, superior, outstanding in every way. And look at what happened to him. And for speaking the truth. But a lot of people lied about him. He's in good company in that way, right? Very good company. Very good company. And if you don't know what I'm talking about Jesus. Yes, sir. Greg up in Michigan. How are you?
Good, Gregory. Got a great name, Mr. Positive, Detroit Radio, National Radio, and TV. I got to tell you, you're doing a great job. Got to ask you, this ceasefire that is happening right now, do you think it'll last? Or is there too many proxies, too many countries involved that despise Israel and that someone will do something somewhere that will just, cause, chaos again?
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's a good question about the proxies because, look, my sense is the ceasefire will hold in terms of Iran, the country of Iran, right? We're not going to see any missiles coming out of Iran, and we're not going to be shooting at Iran anytime soon. I think the ceasefire holds. I think this thing comes in for a landing. I think we got peace with Iran for a good chunk of time. Now, could the Houthis act up? Absolutely. And I know they're worried about that what's that little canal on the western side of Saudi Arabia, that little thingamajig at the bottom of the Red Sea. Could the Houthis attack that thing? Saudi Arabia has been very worried about that. I don't know. I just don't have enough knowledge about how independent the Houthis are and what they got. We hit them last year pretty hard. So, I don't know. And, the Hezbollah thing, you got to recognize we had ceasefire with Lebanon, but that didn't mean we had a ceasefire with Hezbollah, right? Hezbollah, the Party of God, they were still mad, throwing weapons all over the place. And, but overall, I think it's good. We can't make any guarantees about these crazy affiliate groups, right?
Hey, thank you very much for taking my call. Everybody go for your dreams and have a great weekend.
What do you mean by that?
Everybody go for your dreams?
Oh, go for your dreams. I thought you said drinks.
No.
Greg, tell me about yourself. Tell me a little bit more about you.
Oh, my God. Thank you for asking. Well, I've been on radio for about 45 years. You can hear me sometimes on Westwood One Sports, Chris Cuomo, Stephen A. Smith, and I give positivity and I give positive messages. And I want to make the world a better place. For instance, this is how I do it. It's real quick. Warriors, take hold of that vision that comes from above, but temper your destiny with peace, truth, and love. I love Chris Cuomo. He's an intellectual. Stephen A. Smith, love him. I just believe in bettering yourself, making the world a better place. I'm a huge Elvis fan. And, I'm a twin, and I just want to make a difference, my friend.
Well, that's beautiful. But let me straighten you out about something. Chris Cuomo is no intellectual. That guy is Mr. Well, no, I'm not. I'm not going to pick a fight with Mr. Positive. I'm not the biggest Mr. Cuomo fan, but I do love him. I can't stand his show, or I can't stand him. He's so full of himself sometimes. But I'm glad you had a positive experience with him. I helped that guy, Greg, when he was going through the Me Too stuff. He grabbed some producer's ass in like 2004. Remember that? You remember that? Yeah, he's got all kinds of heat for it. You know what I mean? And it's one of the reasons why they pushed him out of CNN, I think. And I'm like, I came to that guy's rescue. He didn't even say thank you. He didn't even acknowledge it. Now, I didn't do it to be acknowledged. But to be honest, I'm a little bit miffed, all right? I'm a little bit annoyed by that. I done a lot of good things for the Cuomo boys, to be honest. I done a lot of good things for them. And sometimes with politics, with them, it's a one-way street. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm glad you had a good experience. I hope you had a good experience on this show. We'll be looking for you, Greg. What's your last name?
Balteff. Be like boy, Alteff, like Frank.
All righty, sir. Good luck. Keep it positive. Let's try David. How are you? Happy Friday.
Thank you for taking my call. Semper Fi from a squid to a leatherneck. I'm happy about the outcome. Hopefully the Iranians will keep to their word. And I wanted to briefly say to you, constructive, polite criticism to your friend who sadly lost last night. The NRA...
Oh, who?
Hathaway. The NRA sent a questionnaire, and I always look online for congressional candidates that I'm willing to volunteer and help try to get out the vote. I reminded my fellow veterans on Tuesday night, hey, you guys live in the district, don't forget to vote. But what I'm getting at is Hathaway had a question mark from the NRA. Now, that's a clever tactic when you don't want people to know your views of the Second Amendment, which translates into, hey, I don't want this to be known publicly. And I appreciate in communist New Jersey, it's difficult for candidates to be pro-Second Amendment. But at the same time, I'm not asking her to wear a bandolier in campaign literature. I'm just asking for some points of view so as to be reassured. There have been a lot of backstabbing, especially Bondi. Ha, 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 Bondi. Good luck. I'm tired of rhinos stabbing conservatives, or for that matter, firearms supporters in the back. So for Hathaway, I hope you can convey to him why it matters, as is on the website with a lot of issues. The Second Amendment was conveniently not mentioned
on his website.
Yeah.
And well, just like you say, it's politics, and sometimes you got to play certain things up and downplay others. So, when he comes in here, and I hope he's still running. I think he will in the.
I hope there's not another primary.
Yeah, no other primary. He'll be the guy running in the general. You know what I mean? Like this woman who won last night is a congresswoman, like right now. They're going to swear her in right away. But she still has to stand for re-election in November. And I think Hathaway is going to be in that race. And we'll square away this Second Amendment stuff. Hey, also, and I want to ask you this and maybe think about this. Some people need time. I was not a big Second Amendment guy a few years ago, 10 years ago. It was, and I was already in my 40s. I had to learn, and I had life had to happen to me, and I had to see how tyrannical our government became, to get to that point. Does that make sense? And now I am like a Second Amendment absolutist, but I had to get there. I wasn't always.
5 years Navy, I learned the hard way. You don't have any freedoms when you're in the military, and convicted felons in prisons, you dare suggest, may have more rights and freedoms than when you're active duty. But when you're going to be trying to make laws telling everyone else in America how they're going to live, it would be nice to know. And at this point, I really hope you can convey, can't avoid the issue of the Second Amendment, even in communist New Jersey, because the Hudson Act, I think it passed in the House yet again. And we'll see if Savak Thune will have a vote for it in the Senate.
All right, David. You're giving us a lot of homework here. I appreciate it very much. And Joe Hathaway, I think, is going to please you very, very much going forward. It is Friday, so what the hell? What the hell? Who's this? Ed, how are you? Is he there?
Great, Greg. I was just paying on speakerphone. Yes, Greg. Great. And kudos to your great dad. And I was somewhere listening to Commissioner Tisch speak, and I don't know why she said this, but she said, and this is a quote, "I would have rather been rat czar than the police commissioner." So was she put in that position because of her family? And what were her credentials for that? I mean, I noticed she didn't take the Dale Carnegie course. I'm the guy that speaks to you about Dale Carnegie. And how is she doing? Let me ask you that. How is she doing within the ranks and the auspices of her position?
Well, my sense is she's doing a crummy job, actually. And I also believe she shouldn't have taken the job, right? Because of who Mamdani is and his views on Israel and the rest. But she's a very ambitious woman. And, I think she likes the big job, right? It's a big job, and she feels very, very important. But she's never arrested anybody. She has credentials that impress in certain circles, Harvard Law School and that kind of stuff. My dad hired her for a job in tech. He needed some lawyers on this one particular issue, but that she's police commissioner, it's a little bit preposterous to me. She is from a very wealthy family, great people, very, very impressive people. But I think this was not the job for her. And now this is like the third time she's been commissioner for a crummy, rotten mayor. De Blasio, Adams, and now this guy, right? I mean, what kind of resume is that if you want higher office? I think she shot herself in the foot. Too cute by half, as our friend Ed Koch would have said. There's the music. We got to go. Peace in the Middle East. Oil prices coming down. Peace and prosperity, baby. The midterms are actually looking rather sweet. Be right back.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?